This week, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger had second thoughts about expanding oil drilling off the California coast. His change of heart was a reaction to the devastating oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. With me to analyze the impact of this change is Tony Perry, San Diego Bureau Chief of the Los Angeles Times. Welcome back, Tony.
Thank you.
First of all, let's clarify whether if there had been expansion of oil drilling off the California coast, whether it would have any kind of an impact on San Diego, on the San Diego coastline.
Sure, it could. We live on the coast, and there was talk of even the federal areas that could be opened up further out. We wouldn't see them, but they would slant drill into our waters. Our bigger risk, however, are those tankers that go by every day, maybe 50 miles out, and the Coast Guard says it has a plan if one of them springs a leak. So we're not immune to this thing. We're not totally on the firing line. We're not Santa Barbara, but we're not immune. But
at least there's a plan. Why did the governor want oil exploration expanded in the first place?
Well, because the state's running a $20 billion deficit, red ink. He was hoping black oil would trump red ink. He's flipped his position. He's now back to his original position, which is no. We're seeing that all over the political landscape. People who are against offshore oil drilling before the big explosion in the Gulf of Mexico are really against it now. People who were edging towards it, sort of on the fence, they're moving away from it now. We're going to have to wait and see how bad things get in the Gulf, this Deepwater Horizon, how horrific it is. So far, it's bad, real bad, but it hasn't hit the absolutely unimaginably horrific level yet.
I want to go back to that time when oil exploration was actively being considered in California. How strong was the political will to drill into the waters before the spill?
I think there was a movement towards it, but it had a long way to go. It wasn't just a matter of yes, had to get through the state legislature, and of course this is California. Gentlemen, start your attorneys. It was still a long way away. I think it's much further away post Gulf of Mexico disaster.
So, gentlemen, start your attorneys. You're talking about bringing in the lawyers into the mix, but what about the California politicians?
Oh, I mean, first the politicians, then the lawyers. That's the California way.
That's what I thought. So how are they lining up on either side of the issue?
Well, again, people who are against it are really against it, and people who'd been edging towards it are edging away from it. I don't think, particularly if the Gulf situation gets much worse, that we're in for drilling off of our coast anytime soon in terms of the state decisions. Now, the federal decisions might be different, but even there, the Department of Interior Secretary Ken Salazar has moved to freeze all new applications. The President of the United States still says he supports offshore oil drilling with the right safety precautions. He's got a big decision coming up later this month. So a lot depends on how close that oil gets to the property between Louisiana and Florida, how bad it gets, how many dirty birds we see on the evening news.
But people have short memories or long memories. I mean, 1969, the Santa Barbara oil spill, people thought never again, nobody would ever consider drilling off the California coast. And look what happened.
Sure, we tend to be disaster-oriented. And we forget that with all energy, be it nuke, 3 Mile Island, or be it drilling, there's a danger, or be it overhead transmission lines, there's a fire danger. There is a risk that we have to manage. When's it too much risk for the benefit? That's the big question. Also, who takes the risk? If you live in El Cajon, the issue is probably the crackling wires over your head, less so oil, slopping on the beach that you don't have.
You brought up the idea of the attorneys. I'm just wondering about Houston-based PXP. That was the company that was going to do the drilling into state waters off Santa Barbara. And now that the tide is turning against them, could there be litigation?
There can always be litigation. Litigation is one of those eternally active situations. Would it work? I don't know. I don't think we had yet gotten to the point of an agreement with those folks. But that doesn't mean they can't run to court and claim some sort of promise broken.
So has the debate come down to environmental concerns versus fiscal reality?
It never really got away from that. It's there now with a vengeance. We still have a state swimming in red ink. We still have all that coastline. We still have the geologists who say there's oil out there. Gentlemen, we're going to see.
Thank you very much, Tony Perry.